President Joe Biden talked with Chinese President Xi today. The White House says Biden warned him not to bail out Russia, but that's basically all we know about the call. Jen Psaki said today, we still don't know where China stands. Listen.
President Biden wasn't making specific requests of China. Why not, and given the stakes here?
Because China has to make a decision for themselves about where they want to stand and how they want the history books to look at them and view their actions. That is a decision for President Xi and the Chinese to make.
Can you offer any explanation for why the U.S. still has concerns after this call?
Because we'll continue to watch until we see what actions they take or don't take.
Nothing scares the Chinese like the history books. Unbelievable. The call lasted nearly 2 hours, and all we got from it was Joe told the Chinese there would be consequences if he helped Putin, but nobody knows what those consequences are because Biden didn't get into specifics. Bottom line, China knows they messed up. Putin can't win this war, and Russia's toast. Just last month, they were bragging about their limitless friendship. China even took the intel we showed them about the Russian buildup and just shared it with the Kremlin. And they asked Putin to invade after the Olympics because, they didn't want their buddy's war distracting from the games. But the war didn't go as planned. The Russian army got stuck in the mud, and their leader is now a terrorist with an economy that can barely breathe. China hitched their wagon to a war criminal and has a tough decision to make if it wants to trade in dollars and euros. The whole world is fracturing right now. So what's next? Here now, Brigadier General Peter Zwack and the Marathon Initiative co-founder, Elbridge Colby. All right, Elbridge, so what do you think went down on this call? Was Joe tough enough?
Well, I doubt it. It seems like nothing much really changed. I mean, Jen Psaki was pretty forthright that he didn't demand anything specifically. So, I think the upshot of what's happening is what you said at the end there, Jesse, which is that the world is probably fracturing. And there definitely are big downsides. I'm sure the Chinese are livid at the Russians more for screwing up the invasion than for any moral abominations that they've certainly committed. But look, there is upside for the Chinese here. This makes the Russians a lot more pliable for them. They have a lot less leverage. And I think we're seeing the beginnings of the formation of a Chinese-led bloc. I don't think the Chinese are ready to come out of the gate yet, but you see, the Saudis trading in yuan. You see the Indians continue buying Russian oil. The Chinese have made it, I think, pretty clear that they're going to continue to support the Russians. They may, not want to take political heat for it, but I think in practice, both on the economic sanctions evasion side, but even potentially in militarily relevant equipment or resources, they seem to be sticking with their man there.
General, how does Joe punish the Chinese and make it clear they better not deal with the Russians any more than they already are?
I think that the actions taken, I don't know what was exactly in the conversation, were prudent. The message was sent. The specifics of whatever reaction, if the Chinese were to be more robust in their support, including military, don't need to be out there. Another point, yes, it does look like the world is in many ways fracturing, but I will say that this Russian aggression, this invasion, and all that has come with it, and China needs to be careful here, has done more to pull together the West and the like-minded nations of the world of anything I can think of since a generation ago. So the Chinese are on notice. The Russians are in deep trouble. The Chinese have hitched their wagon. But they're also worried about getting dragged into something. This is bad for the Chinese brand.
Yeah.
And they are all intermingled. So a lot going on. I believe the message sent was appropriate.
I hope so. And Eldridge, you agree? NATO's pretty strong. America is paying attention to Russia and China pretty carefully. And our Pacific partners are pretty fired up. The South Koreans, the Japanese, and the Australians have, we've encircled the Chinese. So, I don't think China's very happy with this Russian invasion. Wouldn't you agree there?
Well, I think they're unhappy that it's not gone well. I'd be a little more pessimistic about how things stand. I think we have a long, long way to go with our, coalition in Asia. The Japanese still aren't spending enough on defense. The South Koreans have been out of the game for a few years. Hopefully the new government will be better. The Australians are leading the way, but the Taiwanese haven't been doing enough for their defense. And look, the Chinese, they're increasing their defense spending by 7% again this year. They're leading the field, I mean, whether we like it or not, in areas like artificial intelligence. So, I agree with Peter. Europe has really stepped up. I wish it hadn't taken an invasion for this to happen, but the Germans, the Poles, the Romanians, et cetera. But a lot of that is let's be frank, is clustered in the European world. A lot of countries in the developing world are taking a different position. So I think this is just the beginning, unfortunately, or, if you will, the beginning of the end of this, or the end of the beginning of this competition. But the Chinese aren't going anywhere, and we really need to focus on them. We need to deal with the Russians and help the Ukrainians fight them, strengthen NATO, build on what's happening, but not take our eye off the ball fundamentally, which is the main issue is really China, and it will be for a long, long time.
All right, Peter, real quick, because we got to pay some bills. Does China move on Taiwan because of this or not?
I think that right now the way. One geostrategic issue, if Russia totters or fails, then China has lost, if you will, its major geostrategic partner as far as how they see the worldview, while they have completely different things. I think they make the move on Taiwan. I think that they're exposed. Everything about their economy is vulnerable. I think it would be catastrophic for them. But saying that, and their own population will be watching. No, this is incredibly complex and incredibly dangerous period for all of us.
All right, sure is. All right, gentlemen, thank you guys so much for joining Primetime. Have a great weekend.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.